See?
Yep.
Everybody can see. Okay. So, are we ready to record? Are we ready? I don't think I can record.
I recorded. I got you.
All right, deal. Thank you. All right, everybody. Welcome to MVP Office Hours. Today is May 7th, 2021. Got airplanes in the background today. You can find Dale and Squire and I on Twitter, and you can also find MVP Office Hours on Twitter at MVP Office Hours. You can also go to our little website, mvpofficehours.info, or you can email us at mvpofficehoursus@gmail.com. So welcome, everybody. Welcome. Wow. We're very excited that you're here. There are some events listed on the screen in front of you. All of the events by Salesforce are posted on admin.salesforce.com/event. There's also some customer success event calendar items, and then there's trailhead events and community-led events. There's all sorts of calendars and links, and there's so much going on virtually that everybody can do anything. There's some upcoming Dreamin' events, Dream-O-Lay, Albanian Dreamin', Czech Dreamin', and then Trailhead X is coming up also, and then Texas Dreamin' has unfortunately been canceled. And as of right now, all Salesforce events are virtual unless there's some kind of special, super special secret invitation that you got for a Salesforce Anywhere event with Mark. I don't know. He keeps popping up places, and I haven't. I'm curious to see where he's going to pop up next. And then we always encourage everybody to join a community group in person and virtually, a Trailblazer group, and you can sign up for meeting invites. And then there's some other stuff going on. Is that Quip doc still working? Do we know? I haven't checked it in a minute.
Yep.
Excellent. So all of the things are happening, but there's a lot going on.
I have another thing that's not on that list.
What is it?
I'm not leading it. I was told about it. June 18th, there's a thing called Consulting Dreaming.
Oh, good.
And there are some heavy hitters that are doing that. Consultancydreamin.org.
Excellent. We'll get that dropped in. Look at that. Dale and Square are literally working this in now. So
Trying.
Oh, you guys are great.
And I think Connections is in there too.
Yeah, Connections. Yep, Connections is in there too, and Connections is free to everybody, and so is Trailhead X is free to everybody. So I encourage you to register for those soon so that you can get access to the sessions that you want. The next slide that we're going to talk about is remind everyone that Global MVP Office Hours happens also, but here in the US we do the first and the third Friday, and in Portuguese, Carlos, I don't think Carlos is on today. Carlos runs Portuguese office hours on the last Thursday of every month. And you can reach Carlos at MVPOH Portuguese on Twitter. So hello. Now, again, first and third Friday, our next call, we had some ideas about dogs. Okay. Sorry. I got the inquiry from the kids. They're like, is the dog okay out there? I'm like, yeah, he's fine. So our next call is scheduled to be the third week of May. 21st. However, there is another event scheduled at that time, and so we don't want to conflict with that. It's release notes.
It's the release readiness admins session.
Right. So we wanted to talk about that with everyone here about what you would like to do. We can do a couple different things. We can do a watch party kind of thing. We can reschedule. We can skip. What are your thoughts, friends?
Because also note that the following Friday is the Friday before Memorial Day. So probably a lot of people starting to check out at that point, just to bear in mind.
Yeah. So think about what you need from us or what you prefer, and let us know if you're gonna do the release readiness thing, whether we hold something or not. Then let us know that too, and you can just put it in the chat, and we'll kind of take an informal poll there. Ooh, we can do polls, can't we? Dale.
I'm sure we can. It doesn't mean I know.
All right, we'll work on it. Okay. So,
Or we'll put something over in the success group.
Perfect. All right.
Pressure off.
Yes. So we encourage you all to go to the release readiness webinar though, because there's a lot of good information there.
And our feelings won't be hurt if you want to do that without having us in a watch party scenario, because if you want to be fully invested in that, we 100% get it. So.
Yep. I totally agree. Our recordings can be found on YouTube, but the links can also be found on Twitter and within the community. Our favorite hashtags: problem solve together, hashtag community learner, and hashtag MVPOH. I think you all know the rules by now. Everybody participates, share your experience. Let us know what's going on. If you've been down that road, let us know. If you have ideas about how to creatively solve something, let us know. We're all here to help each other. If you have a question, raise your hand in the chat, or unmute yourself. And then use the chat to post any resources or links that you have handy or available to you. And then mute yourself when you're not sharing. As much as I want to share my dog and his experience, I'll be muted when he's barking. Also announce yourself, let us know who you are, especially if we don't have video going on. And then if you can share your screen, that's great, but please do not share any private information because we're recording. So MVPs. Hi, everybody. Hi. And we're really glad everybody's here. And Squire, you're here twice? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I have my
okay, cool.
computer.
Double the Squire, double the fun.
Google, so I gotta.
I was like, is someone impersonating Squire? What's happening? And so this leads us to our resource link Hall of Fame. And then do we have anything outstanding?
Yeah, so Kate had some pretty good questions that Dale and I responded to in the thread. I wasn't sure if she joined today. I wasn't looking at the.
I don't see her. I don't see Lizelle.
But I think we can at least talk through these, see if we can get some ideas, and then share the recording back out.
Right. So Kate is trying to print order and quotes. Is there a way to create a Visualforce page without writing code? Or what type of consultant should I look for? The module on Visualforce was way over my head. Any suggestions are helpful. So it sounds like she wants to just kind of, she wants to be able to print an order and print quotes.
And so Squire and I had added that, since I'm the host, I can take your screen share.
You do that. I'm gonna grab it. I've got to grab something like some water, so I'll be right back.
Awesome. We had talked about that. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely code it up, and that was one of the original solutions, and probably still durable, but it does require a development resource. One of the things that I had mentioned was I've implemented Conga and Draw Loop to solve for this in the past, which then opens up a whole new box of goodies for admins, but it may not, maybe they don't want to have a cost of implementing a new package. That's totally fair. What other ideas or experiences might people have had with this that we can give back to Kate?
We nailed it, Dale. We got all the answers.
You said, was this for quotes only, or?
What was the scope of the original question? It was trying to print order and quotes. Is there a way to create Visualforce pages without writing code, or what type of consultant should I look for? Module on VF was way over my head. Yeah, essentially trying to come up with a printable, print-friendly orders and quotes.
Yeah, I think Conga or Java would probably be your best bet for that. I mean, you could do the standard template thing for quotes, but you're not gonna get orders out of there. And that template generation tool, the standard template generation tool, is I'll say it's lacking.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of customization you can do in that.
She even mentioned that she saw the button on the page, but when she went to the quote, it wasn't working correctly. And so rather than kind of run down that rabbit hole of the little bit of configuration you have to do, I think we were thinking that there's kind of to your point, Jacob, that there's just a lot better tools than the one that's built in.
Yeah, and I think that button only works in Firefox.
Oh, great.
Oh,
So I ran across the issue before, and I think it's a browser issue, not a user issue or anything like that. It's what browser you're using.
Got it.
gotcha.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the site, but if I find it, I'll post it. There's a service that I found a year ago that I know I'm going way off into the innovation rabbit hole here, but I'm not a big fan of the proposed answer of doing a Visualforce page on your own or hiring a contractor to do it, because not that you won't have the most awesome Visualforce page in the world that prints off quotes. Then what? Like 6 months later, now you've got a Visualforce page that prints off quotes. Who's going to maintain that? Are you going to maintain that? What happens in summer of 2022? I hate that idea. I would much rather have something that is not paper-based. And there was a service that I saw that actually took your quotes and you created a web page, a dynamic website that you could then share with your clients and say, present it. And then you could also edit it and add your own PDFs to it and things like that, and say, instead of printing it out, I'm gonna deliver it to you as an online form or an online page. If I can find that site, it was really cool how they demonstrated how they do that. Then I don't have to maintain it. It's a service that I pay for, and it's integrated with Salesforce, and it's something that is more innovative, more flashy. I like that idea better.
Yeah.
Yeah. One other thing I want to throw out there for the Visualforce, you're actually limited to what you can actually do, especially with the quote print function of the Visualforce page. So like you're limited to a lot of, it's more or less you're limited to a bunch of tables, and only they're limited to certain text sizes and things of that nature. So I would not recommend doing a Visualforce page for quote and order generation, just because you can get it close to what the original document may look like, but it's not going to be as good as using a Conga tool. Like where if you already have the template built out, you just do node fields.
I'm going to put my 2 cents here. Hi guys. I went through this, and we have Conga, but we also use Visualforce page because I have 2 developers, so no problem. But the PDF template that comes with Salesforce is probably her best bet to try, because I have one team that it actually works. They print a quote, the template from Salesforce works just fine. But the rest, no, it doesn't work. So it's either Conga or Visualforce page, yeah. But maybe she doesn't need too much, and the PDF template works in Salesforce.
Well, and with Conga,
It's not that
though,
hard to use.
No. But with Conga, though, if you play around with the attributes, you can get it to render as a PDF and attach to the original record, and that potentially means you don't need to use any of Salesforce's templates if they decide to stop supporting them or keeping them up or whatever. But yeah, any number of options in that space.
But yeah, it seems like even if she gets Conga, it still needs a developer to do it, or somebody that knows how to use it, because it's not most user-friendly thing to do that we have, at least for me.
Well, and Conga, like,
You
we're
have to
recording this on.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember that we're recording this. Conga's customer service plan has shifted in the last several years. I will just say that. Draw Loop, very similar application, definitely a lot more admin friendly from a configuration standpoint than Conga.
Cool.
But yeah.
And if anyone's interested, we're going to do a Conga presentation at the Wisconsin Admin User Group meeting next Tuesday. So feel free to tag along. We've got a Kat is going to join us. She's been using it for a long time and might be able to give a little bit of insight to anybody who's not familiar with it or interested in talking about it too. So
yeah, I just sign up for that.
I'm going to put a link on Kate's thread so she sees that, but it's out there in success. Feel free to join us.
Yep, Jen was pitching that pretty hard here internally at 7 Summit, so that sounds exciting.
And you can see how not to build a Visualforce page. I did my very worst to do just that. So
love it. And then our other post from the community was from Lizelle, who, if you've been paying attention to the Salesforce login screen, is that same one on the left side of the picture. But she was asking, this was a couple of weeks ago, so maybe she's even solved for it, but trying to add a component to the homepage that shows events of their account team members. So trying to extend into team membership. If anybody has ever had any experience with that.
So to review, she's looking for a way to view her account team's activity.
Events specifically, yes. Well, the events on the accounts that the member is a member of the team.
Got it. So all events on the account by any of the team members.
But, right. But like if I'm on the team, I only want to see mine is what I read into it. Even if, so, you know, if there's 10 members on that team, I only want to see mine when I hit that component. I think that's what she was getting at.
All events on an account in which they are in the account team. So yes, my account team's account events.
So the report dashboard thing kind of like tipped me off to a possibility. Could you embed a chart onto the account record, like onto the account page that says, you know, this account's events with my account team, my account team's events on this account. I mean, it's kind of janky, but
you know, that actually, yeah. So you wouldn't have to refresh if it's actually on the account and it can run in context of the running user.
But it's an idea because I mean, there is the calendar option, right? But I'm also trying to think of like what I've done to like pull things that are account specific. And that's something that I've done. It's something that I did for my own consulting.
The user,
I'm an idiot. I just did it for my client.
The user experience seems janky to me because your account teams can be different for different accounts. If I've got 100 accounts, I could have potentially 100 different account team combinations. So
that's where you group by the account then to separate that out.
Mm-hmm.
They want it in the context of, she wants it in the context of the user that's viewing it. So I'm a sales rep, give me all accounts, all of my accounts that I'm on the account team, give me all my events. Stu, you and I may have portfolios that overlap, maybe that much, whatever. You and I are going to get our own experiences. And so if one report has a group by account to separate that out, that might do that very easily could do the trick. And even on the homepage, because it's still going to run in the context of the running user.
I love the idea. I love that idea, but I just don't know if it's going to fulfill like what she needs, because she is also talking about a component within their current homepage. And so, but the homepage isn't single account specific.
She's not asking for like to add a component on our current homepage so account team members can view all events for an account. I wonder if maybe we're getting hung up on grammar here, because if
not-
we're
I feel
saying
like-
homepage, that feels like all accounts. Like you can't, you're right. You can't align the homepage with a single account. The assumption being you're on many account teams.
Right. So I don't know if that'll fulfill the request or not, but you know, I look forward to hearing back from her after she
Mhm.
kind of reviews this. So give her a timestamp there, Dale, and then
Yeah.
And events are the thing maybe the thing I'm stuck on is, yeah, you can sort it by accounts, but then can you also sort it by events are time-based? So then can you sort it by the day?
future events or past
Yeah.
events or this month's events or 2 weeks prior, 2 weeks forward. Like, I don't know.
If you
I'm-
make
I'm
if you make the
still-
report if you make the report customizable, because if it's a report chart, you're gonna you wouldn't necessarily see the raw report itself in a
Right.
homepage component. It would be a report chart, but then you click in with all the filters sticky.
And it drills into that account's report. It doesn't drill into like the grand scheme
Right.
report.
I think your homepage component becomes a great starting point, and then you drill in from there and toggle. I mean, it's going to take some training on an end user's part to know how to manipulate things and not break it. But even then, if they don't have the ability to save the master report, they can always start over and do it again.
Yep. As long as that report's protected, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I had
Cool.
one other thought there though. So what this boils down to is you've got an event tied to an account with no people going to it. If the people are assigned as attendees to the event, either through a flow or just because they're doing it manually, it solves itself because you can see your events,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like this is
Yeah.
abstracting a user from just a related event. And I think that could fix the problem too.
Well, but does that limit it too much if you're saying just my events? Because ultimately the hub of this wheel is my account team accounts.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if I'm on the account team, I should be invited to every event. So by definition, that relationship is there.
But is there a native component to automatically show that, or do you need to put a report on top of it to actually extend it?
You should be able to put that the upcoming events component right on there, or the the activity component that just says, here's all my stuff upcoming. I would think that would fix the problem. But I mean, the problem becomes now the events have to be set up correctly, or a flow has to be built in order to assign members to those events, which I don't know which is the better, like you make it more complex on the backside so that every event has everyone invited to it. Or do you make it more complex on the front end to say, I have to know that this report works for me. I have to know when to run it. Am I under the limit of run as user? Because you get 5 or 10. I can't remember what that number is anymore to run as user. So, I mean, I guess I'm just thinking from both ends of it, which is better.
So there's today's events.
Yep.
Is upcoming events like beyond today a custom component somewhere?
I thought
Or-
you could change the date range on custom events or today's events, but I could be wrong. Like while you're looking at it. 'Cause events don't show
Gotcha.
up
So
in
if you have data in there and you're not here, it's on the users.
Right. As a user, if you change it.
Just, yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, she's probably looking for what everyone else has been talking about. I don't think she's looking to force like attendee assignment to the events, but no, it's only going to show, but you can jump right to the calendar from there and then see everything that's upcoming, I guess.
Right.
So I've used the calendar in the past for teams, for account teams, but I don't know how I don't even remember how well they liked it or not. But we have used the calendar at a previous employer. I used the calendar for account teams, but that really relies on everyone getting it set up correctly also.
Does the events filter allow you to say my team's events, or does it have to be tied to a parent object that has a team? I forget that.
I mean, today's events is only like I created one for today, one for tomorrow. It's not bringing up tomorrow. It's not letting me do anything except go to view calendar. And then at that point, you're still stuck with just yours.
Yep.
I guess unless you added.
What happens if you go, I feel like, is there an events tab?
It should be under activities, I think, right? Or tasks. I don't think it has its own thing.
Calendar is the events tab within the system. On the phone, it still says events.
Okay. Just want to see a list of all the events. I don't want to see a calendar. I don't want to see a schedule. I just want to see a list.
You can
of
see
all-
table view. If you go up in the right-hand corner and it's got a little to the left of new
I
events.
see it. I see it.
Where,
Yep.
what?
Which is its own problem, going kind of the putting a graph of data that doesn't graph well, just so you can put the component on the page is its own monster. So yeah.
Except that like when you're creating like a series of new events, it's actually really easy to like kind of flip through it instead of like jumping all over the place. Interesting.
Hold on.
You know what's funny, Dale, is I keep going to tap the screen and I'm like, nope, that's not mine. I
Welcome
can't
to my
drive
world.
this one. I know, right?
Let's see. So my accounts. I swear I know how to lightning. Edit list. My
I'm
accounts.
so excited.
My account
Oh.
teams. Hey, hold on. We're getting this. Hold on. My account teams, because then if you go, oh, you gotta hit save. If we come here and then we create a new calendar, we want to say based on account, apply a filter. My accounts was my account teams.
I think this is still going to look for a date on account, right? Can you drill down from here?
How is this
Well,
Teams?
Well, no, I mean, it's not, well, that's a good,
You're driving really fast and I think you missed a turn.
These are all account fields.
Because the account
Dang.
team member is a related record.
Yeah. Well, but I say in my accounts, in that list view filter, I changed it to my account team. Or no,
Well,
was
right.
it-
That's right. That's right.
but then events is not leverageable here. It's looking specifically at account. So never mind.
Well, field name to display. I feel like I want to go run through like help and see if I can find something on this one, but we have some ideas. We just need to know the
Yeah.
specific use case.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we have like for use case A, we have a potential idea, and use case B, we are stuck. Because like if the account teams are static and they're not like, they don't change from account to account, then it would be very easy to say, show me all of sales account or calendars, right? But
Yeah, because
Oh,
if you had a report that was just accounts with events and you said my team's accounts, you should be able to get all the events. Like getting the Excel file, I think, or the flat file is probably the easiest piece. It's how does that present itself so it runs every time when someone logs in and is something that they can actually interact with on the homepage, if that is the ask. I think that's
Right.
probably the biggest trick, which goes back to your conversation about the grammar. Like, are we talking about a homepage component? Or are we talking about when I'm looking at an account's main lightning page, right?
yeah, we
Right.
just need to get, we need to go back to the request and see what exactly she's asking for. So come talk to us again soon. We want to know more.
And I think you were going the route, Dale, of an activities type report. And
Yep.
although activity reporting is challenging inside of Salesforce, if you can do the activities and do a joined report with account teams, you might be able to come up with the data that you want to see. But then you could put it on a report chart. It just doesn't auto refresh.
Well, and I don't even think it would need to be a joined report. I think it's a report type of, instead of activities with accounts, it's accounts with activities as like the child object. And then because of accounts, that's what then gets you the default filter of my account team's accounts.
Well,
And then maybe a cross filter of with events.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But I'm not always sure though, like you said, interpreting what she means by account teams. Is it my team's events or accounts that I'm part of the team's events? Does that make sense?
I'm reading this as for all the accounts of which I am an account team member, show me those accounts events.
Show me any activities that are a type of event that are related to that account.
Yes. Because
Whether
then where it becomes
person's events or not.
Do what?
The event itself is not something that they are a part of or related to. Or who is it? Who is?
Right. Yeah. They may have nothing to do with the event itself, but because it's on their account that they're a team member of, they want to see it. Yeah. I think that's where we're going. So we'll share this out with her. We'll see, did we hit it? Okay.
Ernesto has been very patient. I think.
Yes.
Definitely.
So I guess I'm just gonna ask. I just want to see what you guys think and how would you go about this simple case that I have. It's a requirement I have a custom app that basically I can request a sample of the product that we sell. Okay, so when I get there, the requirement now is if the product quantity is over 100, then we need approval from the manager to give it to the customer free of charge, or we need to charge it. So they have to pay for it. So the basic question is, I need to create a field that is a yes or no. So it's let's say a drop down where I'm basically saying, is this free of charge or not? So the first part is that, what would you do? But I only need it to be only when it's 100. So one, I was thinking to only show the field if the quantity is over 100 and then make it required. So it's a mix between, I guess, a validation rule and some magic to only show it then. Or just show it all the time and then only require it when the quantity is 100. But then the yes and no doesn't work that well. So I guess, let me take a step back. I need a field that says yes or no based on quantity. How would you create it?
Do you actually need that field though? Approval process in Salesforce can be triggered off of that quantity field.
Yeah.
And then that'll lock the record and send it to someone, whoever you decide needs to be the approval. And then the approver will either accept or deny. If they accept it, then it just goes on to an accepted status. If it's denied, then it'll go back in a rejected status. I don't think you need an extra field that,
well,
I mean, it's either going to be accepted or rejected.
Well, it's one of those, like, maybe they already know that it's approved. So they will create the request and they will say yes, and they just move on. Or if they say no, we also don't want to stop the process, because then, they will need to go back and ask the manager. And the reason why they're putting this right now, and they want in a basic way, why I want to keep it also basic, is that so they can at least pull up a report to say, how many of these are going out without charging? So there is that mix a little bit in there, which is, it's not great, and I get it. I understand the approval process. But to me, then I was like, maybe we can just do a field, but I only ask them if it's approved or not when it's 100. And if they say no, then I still have to figure out with the manager what they really want to do, if they want to stop the request.
Right.
They just want them to go back, and talk to them and say, okay, yeah, this was you know what I mean? Because there is a timing issue too. For sure, they don't want to stop the request, but they want to put a place, a little, I guess, reporting in place where they can say, yeah, this is charged and this is not charged. And then they can go back and say why. Because yeah, my first thought was, okay, well, if you say that it's free of charge, then you need to have an approval. Or you have to have a documentation, like an email from your manager. But right now, it's kind of like not stopping the process.
So it's not so much an approval process as you just want to know what is and what is not.
Yeah, but I want them to kind of pose the question when it's actually the policy say, hey, it's 100, you have to charge for this, right? But I don't want to stop the process. And then the other point is, if it's not 100, then I don't want them to worry about it, to say yes or no.
Right. So
and I don't want to default it to no.
Is it just like confirming that yes, yes, it's this price, or no, it's, yes, it's, we understand that this is way lower than what we're selling this for. And it's just kind of like, yes, I understand the ramifications of giving stuff away for free. Yes, I understand my manager's going to come after me. So it's almost like a dependent pick list on the value field.
Right.
Right. And so can you do a dependent on a value?
Well, so hold on. And I've been multitasking because there's a question in chat here, but is there a formal flow chart anywhere that actually describes how I already have approval, so I know I'm going to bypass it, that then has been implemented to this overall process?
No.
I think that's your first step, is to truly understand the decision nodes of when a pre-approval versus a gotta have approval and wait and all that.
Right. Yeah, that's the problem. They don't have one right now. They don't have this is brand new, like for marketing, from marketing to them. They basically say to these people, hey, if it's 100, you're going to have to either charge or get your manager approval to send it for free. They're trying to take little steps, meaning.
Yeah, but that's a big step to jump into an approval process.
Right. That's why we don't want to do an approval process.
Right.
But on the other hand, it's like an approval process doesn't necessarily have to slow everyone down to a screeching halt. You get the emails to the managers, or, you have them approve in Chatter if that's something that your company works with. But, it is a manager burden for approvals, right? And I feel like the auto approval will be, yes, they're going to pay for it. And then the manager needs to say yes or no on the giveaway. And that's really where you're at. I think it's also a huge like mind shift for your team. Like if they're used to just kind of giving things away and not being held accountable for it. There's a lot of change management that's going to go into that, because there's going to be people that feel like, oh, why do I have to do this? I've got enough seniority. I've been around long enough. I don't have to do this. But when it comes down to it, someone's responsible for where all that product goes at the end of the day, and it's the managers, right? Because if like 100 things go out for free and you've only charged for 10, then what's happening here? Like, how much is that costing the company? Is it part of the ROI for getting the business back, or getting the business in the door? Like what is that? And I think that's an important gear shift for the team to understand. So if there's resistance, because you said there's like a time sensitivity thing,
right?
Maybe it's more than one person can approve it. Like the manager can approve it, and their manager can approve it. Like whoever gets to it first can approve it, as opposed to only a specific person can approve, or maybe there's like a delegated approver, that's in marketing that can approve it. I don't know, but that's the other thing to consider. But I do think that you could probably write a formula that says like yes or no, if you want to say it was 100 or free. So,
Okay.
If it's not supposed to be a blocker, it could just be collaborative. So you could, on that close, you could have something that says it's over 100, make an activity for the manager to approve it, but it's not a blocker. It's just a to do, and send an email to the manager to say someone just set this order up. And then you've kind of got the ability to move past it, but also track it, if that makes sense. And then, that way it's not a block, but you still got history.
Right.
I don't know if that helps.
I thought about this scenario too. So like, how would you go to actually create that field? Do you do a flow? Do you do a process builder? Do you do a validation rule?
No, it's definitely process driven. I mean, the validation rule is going to stop a save. If you don't want it to be a blocker, then you don't want it to be a validation rule. But after that, I think I would try to use flow if you can, but
I think it does start out with what Dale said is you need to draw it out, the process map, and say, if these conditions exist, then don't even do the process approval.
Right.
If these two conditions exist, then you must get approval from your manager.
Eventually, yes.
If this condition exists, then it has to go through process approval, but it could be auto approved and just kick back out and check the check mark that says it's free. But you need to know what those conditions are. Otherwise, you're going to give away millions of dollars worth of product, and at the end of the month, a manager's going to look at that and say, "What'd you do, Ernesto? Why are we giving away the store?" And you're going to say, "I don't know."
Ernesto's like, "I didn't. I just tracked it.
I just set up a flow. I don't know what."
I have a report for that.
I don't know.
No, definitely, definitely. This will evolve. To me, the final thing will be if it's 100, then you say you need to upload manager approval, or we need the approval process built around it, where you can say, yes, this manager approved it. But we're in the beginning stage. I don't think they have it all figured out. Right now, really all they want is like, hey, I need to know how many are there. There are 100 that people are giving away for free. But I need them to be conscious when they do it, they have to say, yes, it's free, because then are accountable for it.
So the other thing I would recommend is if you want them to like accept that, yes, I'm giving this product away for free, you can do a required pick list where it's yes or no, and just phrase it.
Yeah.
So they can't leave it blank. They
Right.
They cannot leave it blank. They have to say, yes, I understand this is free, or no, this is not free. Or however you want to phrase it. That will be
a validation rule, right?
Yes. And just make it, just make it required, and then they can't leave it blank.
But I don't want to require all the time.
Then make it a validation rule. So,
or a dependent pick list that if it's based on stage or something, and then, because then the beauty of dependent pick lists is you can require it on the page layout, but if it's not even like exposable because you didn't choose the right parent pick list value, the requirement goes away.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you're not dealing with code coverage and all the crap that comes with validation rules, because y'all know how much I love validation rules.
That's what I thought.
It's the reverse logic that you love the most, right?
Oh, the nots and the ands and the ors and the not ands and the not ors. Oh yeah, no, I
think I have enough. Yeah, thank you guys. I think I got hung up on. I need to do the most basic thing right now, but also there is like 3 ways of doing it.
Always.
The validation rules, and then and then flow, of course. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, we have
Christy.
Okay, so when you change a record to someone else or a queue, there's a little box on the front that says, send them an email to alert them. It's great, works nice. I need that in the flow because we're assigning a form. I know. The true has to exist somewhere, and we're doing this form, and then it updates to be assigned to a queue. We want to alert that queue, and I was talking to the person I'm working with, kind of Dale, your position at my company, going, am I getting the public group assigned to the queue and looping through their names? Because the flow can only have 5 emails, even if one of those is a collection. Or am I doing process builder? Am I doing a workflow? And I'm like, she goes, it works on the front side. It sends an email.
Ugh. So queues. I mean, this should be fresh and
We've
Go ahead.
we've gone through this before.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tell me what date that meeting was, and I'll go watch your video.
Well, on episode
I don't-
87.
I don't think you want to go through that because I think Dale and I went through fisticuffs on that one.
You probably won though.
If it was one owner, it'd be really easy in a flow to just grab their email and send them one or whatever. But
But don't queues have an email, or can't you associate an email address with a queue?
Yes.
well, they're not, because if you leave that blank, then it will send an email to all members of that queue. However, it doesn't work when you're doing it in flow. When I'm
Right.
updating and changing the record, that's why I'm like, okay, that box exists on the user interface, so it's got to
yeah.
be somewhere.
But that's that box is the problem. Are you creating a record? And during the creation of that record, you want the email to be
The
sent.
person applying for services is
Yep.
the creator of the record, because they will be a logged in community user, but then immediately it updates to the right regional queue that it needs to go to. And we just need to alert them.
And that when you create a record on the user interface, user has the ability to select or deselect that box.
Mhm.
When you define that, so it's actually in the it's not in here, but it's in where you set up the in the object that you're creating, where you set up that set of fields. There is a little option in there to default that button on.
What?
Still doesn't work on the flow side, though.
Well, yeah,
Doesn't-
because
it
that
doesn't
that,
work on flow. This I
because
know.
it's a UI only thing. It's just
Yes,
like when you
I
transfer an
know we've
account.
had this discussion before.
Right, like when you transfer an account, yeah, it's going to take contacts and opportunities too, but that only works when you hit change owner. It's not leverageable anywhere else.
Yeah, you can't force that to default on
Eh.
except in the UI.
And what I'm wondering though is, because like the queue that I just created here, I associated an email address with it. Can that then be leveraged in the flow to say, if assigned to the queue, send an email to the queue email?
I see. Like an additional step.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to do 1 or 2 steps to customize it in a flow, but by virtue of putting an email on the queue, does that then become leverageable as your to whatever the queue is, go get their queue email and send to that?
Oh. How would I look up what a queue email is behind the scenes? It's not like one has been assigned. Because again, if you leave the queue email blank, I read this yesterday, then it'll send to all individual users of that queue.
So I think what we're
With the
saying
front
is
end,
we
with the
need to-
front end process, yes.
So I think what we're saying is, for the queues that are going to trigger this, you should have an exchange set up, like distribution email, as part of your process. That's kind of what we're saying, right?
Yeah, I don't think that the customer will end up doing that. So
Oh, I gotcha.
Hmm.
I mean, I think it's at least worth POCing to see, like, if you put in your personal email as the queue email, play with it and see if it at least becomes leverageable to use. And at least if then that works, you're down the right path. You may then hit a barrier with their exchange team of, no, we're not setting up a queue for that, but it may let you come up with some other workarounds.
So hypothetically, besides having a queue email, what would be the other method you would solve for alerting the queue of people to a new application form that's filled out?
I can't
I
think
don't
of a way to do it other than code now. Once you hit
Yeah.
that limit, you're blocked.
What chatter?
Even Chatter, you'd have limitations, wouldn't you?
I'm reaching, really, I'm reaching, but I'm just trying to think. It's like, can you help the users set up like a stream to follow whatever?
Could you mention everybody that's a member of the queue in Chatter, and then they'd get the notification? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Perhaps, and then like in the flow, you can actually like post to Chatter, and name the queue. And I don't know though.
Queues get super squirrely trying to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
queues-
mentioning users is painful enough in Chatter, but then remember,
Queues are
you
crazy.
well, queues are crazy because you can have
You can have
It's
half
a-
the
it's a
users.
you can have
public
users, you
group.
can have roles, you can have
Yeah.
groups, you can have any number of things.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even know that you want to endeavor on that in code, to be
And
honest.
queues can roll up to hierarchies, so
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
up in the level of the hierarchy can see queues and whatever.
So let back it up a little bit, dial back. So but Chrissy, you had said you were creating a flow, right? To reassign to a queue, right? And so within that flow, can you have an action that says post to Chatter with a hashtag of some sort or whatever, and then help those users set up a stream so that they get those notifications?
Yeah, no, I probably could, because each queue is a public group, belongs to the queue of that same region. There's 10, 11 regions of the courts. And so I was thinking that if I can pull the same exact public group that matches the region that it goes to, that possibly a custom notification, if they're going to notice that, because obviously that's not Chatter, it's just in the upper bell area. So
Right. And then so it's I guess discovering what they
Open that
are,
up again.
where they live, right? Yeah, open that collection again.
Yeah, open that up again. I want to see what your options are.
User,
Those are the
user role.
globals.
Go to
Well, so those
user.
are- What? So
No,
no, that's running user.
I'm
All
just
the
thinking-
dollars, that's running.
I'm thinking about a really bad idea. How about custom metadata? Set up a custom metadata that is your users and email addresses for this queue.
you can only have up to 5 emails in flow, whether it's a collection
Yeah.
of emails or individual. So
That-
I didn't know how many people might be in each group.
Which is
And that's fine.
Which, Christy, is then why I'm wondering if you can at least prove that the queue's email address as a single address.
Mm.
If you can get that to work, that gets you a little bit further to then figure out how do I leverage it to get to all the individual members of the queue.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd really like to know more about why you think they'd resist having a distribution email that represents the queue.
It's a government.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're okay with individual emails, but not a group email?
Individual people, there's.
Squire,
You could-
there's-
you-
I'm going to
yeah,
remind
yeah.
you that this is on a recorded line.
All right.
Don't
I'm
ask too
not
many
saying who it
questions, just-
is. There's lots of choices in the world of government.
All right. Gotta get my bleep gun out here so we can talk through it.
We're
I'm not
saying,
that good at YouTube.
We're not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
I appreciate you. It's worth asking you all to brainstorm it to find out. I just feel like, okay, it exists. The box exists. How can I leverage it? But that's okay.
It exists and they exist.
Secret box.
So Sue was after Christy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so really quickly, because we are at top of the hour, is Sue still on?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. Okay, so what I built, oh, dang it. So just to kind of try to break the system a little bit, I just built an account report that shows parent account. To break it, I put in let's group by the owner so that I could get a chart and just, all right, let's see where we go. In the because the question was, how can we leverage parent account on an account report chart? And of course I didn't save it because I'm a smart guy like that. Oh, here it is. It's in another tab. So I referenced that report. You then have the ability to filter by, and because it's an account report, it looks for Squire. That was
Oh, that's new. I don't have that option.
Well, because both of these are account ID fields.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an account report chart. It says, okay, give me the option of anything that uses the account ID and the account relationship. So I didn't have any data populated with parent ID, or that's why it went away, but give that a whirl. See if that maybe helps you solve.
I'll add it in. I thought I had tried that, but thank you. I'll try it again.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All
Is
right.
that it?
With that,
That's it.
we're at the.
That's
Yep,
it.
were there any other questions in the chat that we can take offline?
I think
I
we
don't
got
know.
everybody. We danced in and out of that pretty well.
We literally.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you. And we'll post a poll in the success community about what to do for our next meeting. I suspect we're going to skip. What do you think? Squire, Dale, watch party?
I mean, we could try the watch party, but I also, like you said at the top, totally respect people wanting to just focus on it. And
I know I'm going to need to focus.
Yeah. And I tend to lead it with my internal team, so I don't think I could double dip. So
I think maybe we just make the decision right now that we're going to skip, and we'll see you on June 4th, because the following Friday is right before Memorial Day.
Yeah. And we'll just post to, instead of seeing us, go to release readiness for sure.
yeah, I think that's a great idea. All right.
I agree.
Okay.
It's a done deal. All right. We'll see you guys in a month. Oh my gosh.
It's going to be quick. It's going to be quick.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You know where
Yes,
to
it
find
is.
us in between, though.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great
All right.
weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Be
Bye all.
well.